All right, BD family, it's great to be with everyone here for another edition of Webinar Wednesday, tips to help grow your online community. We're reaching the end of the year. It's been a wonderful 2022. It's been even more enjoyable with you guys here in the webinar and in the Facebook group. So big shout out to you guys and big thank you to the BD community for not only staying positive, but for keeping us going here. We definitely appreciate you guys very much. If this is your first time joining Webinar Wednesday, welcome. I am Jason there on the left, and we're always lucky to be joined by David Rockland, the digital strategist and so much more here at Brilliant Directories. David, thanks so much for helping us put this webinar together and for joining us today.
Hey everybody, glad to be back with you for webinar 147. Got a great tip of the week coming up, should be useful for everybody along with some updates as usual.
Fantastic and awesome. Also important to know, we are streaming on YouTube Live today, so if you weren't able to log into the actual webinar, you can catch us live on YouTube right now. The best part about streaming on YouTube Live means that the replay is instantly available after the webinar, and we definitely encourage you guys to join and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube and click on that red subscribe button. You'll get notified as soon as we upload new tips of the week, webinars, training videos, and more. And also on the social side of things, we also encourage you to join our Facebook group. Every day there's more and more amazing discussions started in there, people working on their membership websites, asking questions or sharing ideas. I'm in there myself, and I highly recommend everyone take a moment to join us there. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook and click on the blue join button. Of course, everyone is welcome. And just some news from the community. Last month in November, we had an iPad giveaway contest. We also gave away some Amazon gift cards and a free lifetime website plan. But we had a grand prize winner located in Southern Australia, South Australia, Rick Newski. I apologize if I say your last name incorrectly, but Rick, congratulations on winning the iPad, and he joined in on the fun and sent us a photo of the iPad that he received in the mail. We'll probably do one, well, we do them from time to time. I think this was the third time we did an iPad giveaway this week, but all this happens in our Facebook group, so all the more reason to join the BD Facebook group and the community in there. I think we're close to 10,000 members in that group. Again, there's lots of buzz and activity in that group, lots of great discussions, so we definitely encourage everyone and invite everyone to join us there. Congratulations, Rick, on your win. And we do see a few new names and faces here joining in on the webinar. Tom and Trisha, welcome. Tess, good to see you. Rich, a longtime favorite here at BD, also Ryan and Sharon, and from the BD team, Sherilyn, and so many more. Good to see you here on the webinar. Agnes and Billy, I see some new names there. Webinar Wednesday is a great way for us to share some of the newer features we build into the platform week after week. Sometimes we do some small patches or updates or fixes. They're not really noteworthy, but in the webinars, we try to pull out the features that you can take actionable steps on to help you grow your community a bit quicker. So we cover topics such as how to increase traffic, convert visitors into free or paid members, improving your website's navigation, and a lot more. So we're going to try to get to as many questions as we can in this webinar. If you have questions or need help with your membership site, we'll take questions in just a bit, so just save them. It can be on these topics or anything else related to your membership website. Okay, and yeah, the last couple weeks, there have been a lot of updates behind the scenes. And again, these were smaller fixes or patches to stability, security, and speed. So we're just gonna focus on the lab updates on upcoming features that are soon to come and being built into the BD platform. I'll breeze through this list before we get into the tip of the week. At the top here, we have some speed updates coming down the line. That's been a huge focus the last year. I want to give a round of applause to the BD development team for identifying and actually implementing updates that improve the speed of all BD websites. We're now focusing on not only the front end of the websites, but the back end administration area where you manage your site. We're working on creating a faster admin area, faster saves, and things like that. as well as delivering more assets from BD's CDN. This is going to help our global users just work on their websites a bit quicker on the front end and on the back end. Last month, we introduced a language library. Before you could always translate your site into whatever language you wanted to, but you'd have to go through about 1,500 text labels to change that language. We thank everyone who stuck with us during those times. Right now, we have English and Spanish available. So with the click of a button, you can translate 99% of your site into Spanish or English by default. And what's coming up are French and German are soon to be released, hopefully this month before the end of 2022. And we'll continue adding more languages based on demand and popularity over time. But we now have a system in place for this. And hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have 4 main languages: English, German, French, and Spanish available, and more moving into 2023. Also coming down the line, we're seeing more questions and discussions around integrations and using Brilliant Directories API with Zapier or Pabbly, or with other third-party solutions like ClickFunnels. Right now, you can import members and you can import leads. And what's coming soon is the ability to import posts, such as job listings, blog articles, events, and more. Those types of posts, being able to directly import RSS feeds, or if you have another source where the API can fetch that data and you can pull it right into your BD site. So what the future of BD actually looks is, if you're going to launch a new BD site, we're going to ask you, when you start your site, do you have a list of members that you want to import into your site? And hopefully with a few clicks, you can get that done. Do you want to add content to your site? Job listings, okay, what categories? And if you have a feed available, you can quickly populate your site and get things going right off the bat. So that's kind of the future vision that we have for BD and how you can add content more quickly into your sites. Next on the list here, coupons. We've talked about this in a previous webinar, and I have a screenshot I can show you. Right now with the Easy Coupon Codes add-on, you can create promotional coupon codes that can encourage member signups or upgrades. However, you can't create coupon codes for one-time payments such as digital products, when members are using the pay-per-post feature, or when members are purchasing leads. Part of the roadblock was the UI interface of how we were going to handle that, but I do have a screenshot of what that's going to look like. So when you're creating a promo code, and hopefully we'll have this released just at the turn of the new year, probably January or February 2023, you're going to be able to choose what can this promo code be used for: new signups, upgrades, digital products, pay-per-post, lead purchases. And as you check these off, this will be a checkbox options here. You'll have options here for what they can be applied to: what type of membership plan signups, upgrades, which digital products, what type of posts, and which members can use them for leads. So this should allow you to provide kind of more perks to some of your existing members and when they make purchases on your site. The next one here also kind of related to finance. Right now in the finance tab, you can see all the itemized transactions listed in the transaction history tab. You can see successful payments, refunded payments. We're going to add a new search setting, which will allow you to search by active or ended subscription. So if you have people on monthly cycles, you can search probably like the previous month and see which ones of those subscriptions are active or ended. It can give you a better sense of your churn rate on your website. And I also have a screenshot of what that's going to look like. This is a little close up here, but when you're searching your transactions, you can search by billing cycle. And what's going to be new here is the ability to search by the subscription status as well. So if you want to search for all your monthly subscriptions that have ended, you can do that and see how many people you lost, for example, last month in November. You can see which ones are still active and that you expect to collect on as recurring subscriptions coming up. So this should give you a better sense of your churn and a better idea of the pulse of who's active and who's ended on your website from a financial standpoint. And lastly, members always have the ability to close their accounts themselves. Right now, when they close their accounts, they go through their member dashboard, they click on the buttons that says, I want to close my account, and the account is closed instantly. However, in the Facebook group, there were some suggestions. If somebody has paid for the month and they want to close their account, we should give them the option to close the account immediately or close it at the end of the amount they've already paid for. So we're going to update the UI here a bit. And when a member goes into their dashboard and they want to close their account, if they have a paid subscription and they're already paid through, for example, December 15th, they'll have two options: close the account immediately or close the account but close it till the through the time that you've already paid for it. In this example, December 15th. Also in the same vein here, we're going to look at tackling prorated upgrades and downgrades at the beginning of 2023, and that should close the loop on people closing their account or changing their plans with all that logic. So we'll be sure to keep you guys posted as those updates are available. And then lastly, tons more than I can mention here. Speed, security, and stability updates are definitely on the way. And a big shout out to you guys in the BD community. Your support tickets, Facebook group discussions, even complaints and issues and things like that help us make the platform better for everyone. We definitely want everyone to have a good experience on the platform, and it's only a matter of time before we have all the features everyone has been asking for. So definitely want to say thank you to you guys. And with that, David, if it's all right with you, I will pass things over and we can go over this tip of the week, which is really good. Best practices, optimizing images to improve your website speed.
Absolutely. You know, images play a huge role, as I'm sure we all know, in the user experience on any website. But some thought does need to go into which images are being utilized on the website, both not only for the visual experience of the member, but also in terms of the image file sizes, dimensions, all that sort of stuff that really affects load times, SEO, as well as a few other things. So we'll dive into this. It's a pretty simple presentation, but definitely a lot of useful tips to kind of keep in the back of your mind as you're building out and updating your website, adding images, all that sort of stuff. So first things first, we know that images are important to any sort of experience, especially high quality ones. Images that relate well not only to the target audience but also to the content that's on either the website or the individual web page. Those high quality images end up drawing attention. They can elicit some sort of emotion in the visitor. We definitely want to make sure we're using as high quality images as possible. And background images, for example, probably the most common one that we're all familiar with, at least on BD sites, the main hero image on the homepage, that really creates an atmosphere, sets the stage almost for the experience that the website visitor will have on the website. It gives them a good idea, aside from the supporting text, what the website is about. So we definitely want to make sure we're using high quality, meaningful images on our sites and our pages. However, a lot of sites use images that are just way too large for the purpose that they're being used for. They might be high quality, but there's some things that we can do to really optimize them. Even if an image is super high quality, if the dimensions of it, for example, or even just the file size is too high, that can really affect the page load times, which ultimately leads to a poor user experience. And we can see that, ourselves just by visiting the site as we're building it or updating it. But also slow load times actually can affect your SEO. Google and other search engines, they have begun to favor websites that serve content rapidly to the visitor. Websites that load slow, and images play a large role in that most of the time, typically end up getting pushed further down in search results. Images, even though it's something we might not think about a whole lot with regards to SEO, it certainly does play a role.
And just to clarify a few things, high quality images, it doesn't mean like 6,000 pixel enormous image. Like the bigger the image size, the higher the quality it is. What we mean are attractive images that have sharp photography, that are clean. It's easy to digest what's happening inside the image. whether it's to elicit an emotional reaction or if it's a navigation cue for the website. So when we say high quality, we don't necessarily mean like the biggest file size. That's actually the opposite. So when we hear high quality, you just want images that are sharp, the pictures look good and clear, and it's adding to the website experience, again, either eliciting emotion or helping with the navigation, the user with their navigation of the website.
And that's a good segue into this slide here. Going along with those high quality images, we don't necessarily want them to be overly large, both in terms of dimension and also file size. Large images tend to lead to large file sizes, which ultimately leads to slower load times. So here we have some recommended dimensions as well as some target file sizes that you can typically try to shoot for. Again, this isn't kind of a hard and fast rule. These are just some kind of best practices and some general recommendations here. So for images that would take up the entire width of the website, again, think of the hero image on the homepage of your BD site. Typically, we'll want to shoot for a width, dimension-wise, of about 2,000 pixels, and file size, we really don't want to have it any larger than about 200 kilobytes. For content images, these are images that would, that you would put in like the body of a post or, a supporting image on a web page. These ones, again, this will vary depending on the placement of the image, but there's typically no need to have them any wider than 1200 pixels. Really, even 1000 might be pushing it in many cases. And then when it comes to file size, we really do want to keep those below 100 kilobytes. And that's typically not too hard to do. And then another common type of image that's placed on websites are square sidebar images. So in your BD site, you can have sidebars on many different pages. Also here on the home page, as Jason is showing, we have some smaller images. So for these more square or just smaller images that take up a smaller footprint, again, typically you could work around about 450, 500 pixels, both length and height. Again, depends on the placement. In terms of file size, 50 kilobytes for these is kind of the maximum we want to shoot for. And all of these recommendations are certainly possible. And we'll share some tips and free online tools if you're not familiar, you don't know how to edit photos or you don't have any software for it. We'll show you how to do all of that here.
And the reason we wanted to show these is normally a lot of us are getting our images from stock photo websites. There's a million of them out there. And usually there's a lot of free stock photo websites. Some of them are paid stock photo websites, and they actually charge more for larger sized images, the dimensions. So if you're looking for, a hero background image, you don't need the 8,000 pixel one. Again, you really just need somewhere around the 2,000 plus or minus range for that. So right there, you can solve a lot of your problems with images if you're downloading the right size or the right size range of images from these stock photo websites or anywhere else you're getting your images on the internet. I know we all feel like we need the largest size that they make available, but again, we don't need that because it's just overly large for the web page or even for what the user needs it for as it's displayed on the actual website.
And another perfect segue here, going into some free online tools that we can use to optimize the images that we're using on our websites. The first one here that we've listed is a free tool that you can use to resize your photos or your images. As Jason mentioned, especially if you're getting photos from stock photo sites, typically the dimensions are extremely large, several thousand pixels in either direction, which we typically don't need. So if we can make those images smaller dimension-wise, then we certainly want to, and we can use this free resize tool, iloveimage.com. Moving on, we can also utilize an optimization tool. This wouldn't reduce the dimensions of the photo, the length and width pixel-wise, but it would reduce the actual file size, how much storage the image file itself takes up. And it does that in a few different ways. One of the ways is by removing some kind of bloat metadata that's associated with each image. And in some cases, it can also You can also choose whether or not you want the quality of the image reduced or not. That would reduce the file size. So there's a few different options to go along with it, but certainly an incredibly useful tool. We use it pretty often ourselves. The one that we recommend is just imageoptim.com, short for image optimizer. And then lastly here, convert tool. This is something a lot of us don't really think about and aren't aware of, but there's several different types of files for images. I think we're all pretty familiar with JPEG and PNG file types for images, but there's a new file type called WebP. This has become much more prevalent. Google was really the one who spearheaded this file type for images specifically, and it dramatically reduces the file size of the images without any loss to the quality. And you can easily convert any JPEG or PNG file to a WebP file. Again, no loss to quality and a dramatic reduction in file size, sometimes even up to like 75%. So it's certainly useful. Not only would that save in terms of website storage and bandwidth usage, but because the website, every time a visitor loads a page, because that page is delivering a smaller file size image, that'll speed up the load time for your pages as well. So there's a few different free tools online that you can use to do this. Convertio is one, Cloud Convert is another.
And you don't need to use all of these or any of them. If you have one image on a page and the page is loading fine on your mobile device and your desktop, then you're all good. But if you're trying to edge your speed scores and things like that, then you'll probably want to take one or all of these into consideration. And we're going to show you how you can use these tools. And the reason we're sharing these free tools is not everyone has Photoshop on their computer or Adobe Illustrator or any other high-level image cropping or optimization tools. So we wanted to make this video and show you guys how to do it with free tools online. So even a novice user can make sure that their images are not affecting their website speeds and actually helping their website speeds. Also bonus, let me go to this next slide here. Yeah, we have this. I'll go through this slide here, David. Important to note, the BD platform already optimizes image dimensions that are uploaded by the members. So if your members upload profile photos that are like 8,000 pixels wide, the system already optimizes those dimensions. You don't have to worry about those. Same thing with post images. If they're adding images to a blog article or an event post, the system will automatically reduce the dimensions to an acceptable size for the website. Also, these tips that we're talking about, they're mainly for when you're uploading images directly into your media manager. So you upload an image into your media manager and then you select to use it as like a hero background image or within the web page builder and things like that. And we're going to cover that in just a moment. And then lastly, if you don't want to do any of this, we did another webinar on a shortcut using a free tool called ImageKit. They have a great freemium plan. And this will optimize image delivery and serve all your images in that format that David just mentioned, WebP, automatically. Let me share a link to that video from our blog that we did previously. Let me go to the Brilliant Directories website. And I think if I just search for speed in our blog here, you have 5 ways to rocket boost your website speed. This talks about some of the optimization settings built into the Brilliant Directories platform. But the last thing here at 19 minutes, you can fast forward, or excuse me, at 10 minutes here, we talk about using ImageKit. It's a third-party tool, but it serves your images in WebP format automatically. You guys can check that out. I just put a link in the chat. But yeah, important to note, so the BD platform optimizes images for you. This is only for images you're uploading into the media manager or anywhere else you're using. If you have a WordPress site or using other sites on the internet, there's definitely plugins and things like that. But this is for novice users. If you're just doing things on your own, these are best practices for you guys to follow, and just be aware and conscious of the fact that 8,000 pixel images are not appropriate for websites. So what we have here now is we're going to look at a live website example, a before and after of a website, just their homepage with 4 images on it, using overly large images, and we're going to optimize those images and see the difference in the speed scores for the site. So let's take a look here. This is the example website, our webinar demo site. We have a hero background image here. of a nice architectural home. And here in the hero divider, we have 3 images here, kind of home related. A couple looking for a house, moving into their apartment, and a couple walking by another house. And if we look at the speed score for this site, we did a test earlier. This site, and it's because of the images, we're going to fix that. We can see that the performance is 63 and 86 on GTmetrix. And we can see here that images are contributing to about 7 megabytes of load time. We want a web page to be under a megabyte, under 500 kilobytes total, or even smaller if possible. And we can see here just 4 images are contributing to 35% of the memory or file size of this page. So let's reload this page real quick. And we can see here I'm reloading, and the background image took a while to download. We saw a gray space for a minute. Let's take a look at this image for a moment. So here's the image on its own. This is how big the image is. We can see here how much this takes. So let's download this image, and let's optimizing it using some of those tools that David mentioned. So let's save this image to our computer. It's a JPEG file, and this image is 8 megabytes in size. So the first thing we want to do is we want to resize it. It's just too big for the space. So I'll share this link, iloveimage.com/resize. And I'm just going to use all 3 of these so we all get an idea of how they each work. So there's a link there. So I'm going to select an image from my computer, and let's go here. Here is that it's 8,683 kilobytes. That's 8 megabytes. Let's copy that, and it's going to ask me, right now the width is 6,700 by 2,100, way too big. Let's just bring this down to 2,000, and it should auto update. There we go. It just did the height on its own. Maintain aspect ratio, and let's click resize image, and it's going to allow me to download the resized image. Okay, great. So that already brought it down to 1 megabyte. So from 8 to 1 megabyte. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my second tool here. Again, you don't have to use all of these, but just if you want to. imageoptin.com/online. The /online is important. It allows you to do all the optimization online. So what this is going to do is, if you ever take a picture on your iPhone, you'll notice that that image has metadata attributed to it. It has a date, it has a location, and it's got tons of other information associated with that photo. And that information adds to the overall file size of the image when you upload it to your website, any website. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to Image Opt-in. I know it's a JPEG. If you don't know, it doesn't matter. And you can choose if you want the quality to be low, medium, or high. Honestly, medium or high works fine. You know, even in this case, let's just keep it as high. So we're going to click browse. We're going to choose now that 1 megabyte house copy image. And once you select it, you're done. It'll automatically process it. And there we go. It's downloading it now. So that went from 1 megabyte to 207 kilobytes. So that's like an 80% savings right there. So now we have the same image from 8 megabytes to 207 kilobytes. Now what we're going to do, it's still a JPEG. I want to convert it to a WebP format. And that's going to be like the icing on the cake for all this. So I've made it 2,000 pixels. I've removed all the bloat, meta, whatever this thing does. And now I'm going to use, I can either use Convertio or Cloud Convert. They have some kind of a limit. It's free, but again, if you're not going to do 100 of these a day. So we're going to choose the file. We're going to choose our 200 kilobyte Hero House copy, and it's a JPEG, and it's going to say, what do you want to convert it to? I'm going to choose WebP, and we're going to convert that. And they throttle it a little bit, and it's already done. So now we're down to 61 kilobytes instead of 8,000 kilobytes, which is 8 megabytes. I'll go ahead and download this. So we can see here the progression of this. 8 megabytes, changed the dimensions to something appropriate, brought it down to 1 megabyte, removed the bloat, brought it down to 207 kilobytes, and down to 61 here. So let's upload this to the design settings, to the media manager, and we're going to run the speed test score one more time. And this is just the one hero image, which usually the hero background image, there's only one on a page. You're usually using it on some kind of specialized landing page. So again, you're not going to be doing this 100 times. You're just using it. You just have to be conscious of it as you're building out some of your web pages. So this is the media manager now. We're adding the 60 kilobyte image here, and we're going to select this. The images are the same as far as the way they look. We'll even do a before and after. Okay, great. Let's duplicate this. And let's refresh. We can see there was no delay now. I'm hard refreshing here. There's barely a delay in getting this image, where before, when it was the older image, we were seeing a gray space for a moment, and it's even slower on mobile devices. Let me just right click here. Yep, we can see here it's loading the WebP image, and we can see the dimensions here, 2000 by 656. And this one, the dimensions were 6700 by 2198. And I do see a small difference in image quality, to be honest, but not a tremendous amount. And again, we took it through 3 different tools. And again, you don't have to use all of them. You could just use a few of them if you wanted to. But let's run this speed test again. Now, there were still these 3 images down here that are not optimized, but just from updating the hero image, which was the largest one, let's see how that affects the speed score here. And this is a great website, gtmetrics.com. There's a lot of speed testing tools out there. Are they all amazing? No, they all have their own biases towards what they favor as good speed scores and different. Google has their testing tool, but it's a good idea to get just a pulse of an overall pulse if there's any major outliers on the web page or your website that should or could be improved. So we can see here, and I can open the old one in another tab, just from changing that image, we're back to performance 95. You know, these are all good scores here, and we can even get higher scores by updating those other 3 there. The fully loaded time went to 1.3 seconds. So image load is now 895 kilobytes compared to when it was 7.35 megabytes. That's going to be hard on a mobile device to download that, especially if you're not on 5G or connected to Wi-Fi. I don't think I need to go through this is already a good score here, through the other images, but that is the basic idea for optimizing large images. And again, you only need to do this if you don't know if you have a high file size. If you're unsure, you can go to your media manager, and it should show you the size of the images. Let me see here if we go to list view. Yeah, so you can toggle grid view and list view. This is good to know. And it says the size. So we can see here 8 megabytes, that would be a red flag, as opposed to 62 kilobytes, and so on and so forth. So if we're looking at our standards here, if we have it just in the back of our mind of the file size is the important thing. Dimensions are helpful in achieving a good file size. That's the most important. But you know, for background images, hero background images, we want 50 to 200 kilobytes. And we see that here in the background image here, it's 62 kilobytes.
And we could even turn on ImageKit to further improve the load times.
Yeah, so as we were mentioning, you can use ImageKit on a site. I did share the link to the blog article, but let me see here, just a moment. I'm not going to go through the whole setup for ImageKit, but when you enable it, let's see how this enhances the image delivery. You would set up an ImageKit account, and then you would just paste the link for the optimized images here in your advanced settings. All right, and let me just go to the website and make sure that that's enabled. If we go here now, these should be loaded from ImageKit, and they are, see, these are really large images. They're 1007 pixels wide. That's not necessary. However, let's run the speed test tool one more time here, and we'll give that a second. And did I share a link to, no, I did not. Let me share a link to convertio.co as well as convertcloud.com. They kind of do the same thing as far as converting your PNG and JPEG images to a WebP format. Okay, great. I can go back here. So we had a C score before any optimization. Then we had, did I mess this up here? I wanted to go, I think I did mess this up here. Trying to find the order of pages that I had. Well, anyways, nonetheless, now we've reached a 100% structure with that most recent, with using ImageKit here. This is good. You know, anything in the high 80s or in the 90s is definitely a good sign that the website is at least doesn't have any major offenders with regard to its speed, or anything that's causing page load lag on the site. So that's basically it. Just to be a little aware of image sizes on your site. It's a good best practices, especially, I know not all of us are web designers, but we're managing our websites, so it's important to keep that in mind. And with that, we have plenty of time in the webinar today. We can take any questions about the tip of the week, any of the updates that we mentioned, or if you need help with your membership website, we can definitely dive in and see if we can spend a couple minutes to help you out there. All right, looks like Teresa has her hand up. Let me unmute your mic there. How you doing, Teresa?
Jason, is it?
Yes, it is. Hey.
Hi, thank you. So I had my site suspended by Google for whatever reason. So I was able to research it and get it back up to par, and it's now been back on Google. So I'm wondering if you can take a look at my site and let's take a look.
Absolutely. What is their website name?
Notarytoday.pro.
Notarytoday.pro.
Yes.
And what was the reason they gave you for taking it out of, or for de-indexing it, basically?
They said it went against the policies, and I don't know why. What was wrong with that?
Okay.
So I had to give him like copies of my lease and business registration.
Okay. Let's see here. Everything looks good here. I'm noticing something here. I'm going to make a note of this. I know why that's happening. I'm gonna fix that. That's because you're using circle buttons, but the circle buttons don't work so good in that situation. Let me make
okay.
That's not your fault. That's something BD should fix.
Okay.
Fix social login buttons when circle. This site looks great. Let's see from an SEO perspective real quick. Your Notary Public Professionals Network computer, find Notary Public Professionals Network. Networks is good. You may want to use the word a directory in there, or local. Those are also good keywords. I would recommend, if visually, your main menu items, if you could, because some of them are one line and some of them are 2 lines, maybe try to find words that can get them all on 1 line.
Okay.
Because the main one, it adds height to the main menu, which can be avoided, and it's taking up some real estate on the page. And 2, it'll just be a little bit more uniform.
Okay.
So maybe this could just say like notary or just conferences.
Okay.
I like the SEO of what you did, conference for notaries, things like that, or notary events, things like that. So yeah, single line there. You may want to center this. It looks like it's right aligned.
Oh, okay.
Can we do that together real quick?
Absolutely. Yes, please.
Just a moment here. We can maybe do a couple things.
I'm a novice at this.
How has your site been received by the notary community?
Received well. We had our first conference this year in November.
Very good. And how are you recruiting? Are you using any specific strategies to recruit new members, or to
make? I'm learning as I go along.
Okay, very good. So if we go to the home page here, yeah, it's right aligned. We can center align that.
Okay, gotcha.
This is good. I like this. Are you a member of Notary Today? Join Notary Today. You're giving them 3 calls to action. But join now and become a notary. What is the difference between these 2?
Join now is to join join our community, and become a notary is to become an actual notary public.
Okay. So this is for someone who's interested in becoming
a notary.
To start not a career, but at least to become a notary.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, those are good. Maybe a little bit more clarity between join now and become a notary, because they're both asking you to kind of, start something.
Yeah. Okay.
And instead of request a notary, you could personalize it to I need a notary now.
Okay.
Something like that. That's something that speaks a bit more to the website visitor.
Gotcha.
welcome to our space. I understand what's going there. You might want to take it. You have a really good name. You might want to say welcome to Notary Today here.
Okay.
I understand what you were saying. You know, this welcome to the Notary space is what you're going to. Also, I see the homepage is focused on that you're helping notaries here. So this website is more for helping. It's a B2B, helping notaries, not only for the consumers to find notaries. Is that correct?
Correct.
I see. Upcoming event. These are upcoming notary events, correct?
Correct.
Okay. This is a good place to put a keyword. You might want to say upcoming notary events here.
Okay.
That's good. Latest notary news instead of industry news.
Gotcha.
It's a good way to sprinkle some more long tail keywords on the homepage. And here, instead of members directory, you could say notary directory.
Gotcha.
Research and connect with our professional notary, or whatever the word is for them.
Okay.
This is great. Spotlight Notary. You're doing a showcase on a specific member here. I love that. Are you at offering this as a boost or complimentary or hand selected?
I'm offering that at both boost and hand selected.
Wonderful. And you've written like a spotlight article on this person here.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sure they love it, and I'm sure they share it on their social media when they're focused on your website. Very smart. We've spoken about that in previous webinars. Here also, instead of newest members, another good place to use the word notary.
But we have members there who are not Notary Public, but within the Notary Public field, like attorneys, so professional providers of maybe business offices.
Got you. So relate. Okay, and notaries themselves. So I see here, Notary Public.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe just some more context of newest members.
Like I have a question, Jason. Is there a way to only feature Notary Publics here? How can I do that in the back end?
Yes, there in the back end, you do have one option to limit there. Let me show you, well, a couple, but let me show you. So you have the streaming members. What you can do is, if you have you should have a membership plan just for the notaries if you want.
Oh, okay. I don't have that now. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, there's that way, or you can hand select people to the, but then it's not dynamic. Let me figure out a better way. I think that's a great suggestion, because you can limit by membership plan, but if you could also limit by category here, that would make that a little bit more useful.
Oh, go back to some of what this level behind that.
One. Let me just make a note here for that. Streaming members filter by category as well. That's actually a good suggestion. And then what were you saying here?
If display additional information, display top level category. Okay. No, that wasn't it. Okay.
Yeah, this just decides what to show in that area.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Overall, Teresa, I think your website's looking great. The homepage is the most important. I think you're 90% there. Just with a little bit more uniformity and focus. And then just as long as the internal pages that you click on make sense as well, you should be in a good place.
Okay.
All right, and you can watch this replay. I know I mentioned a lot of suggestions, but you can slow it down in the webinar replay if you need to.
Okay, I have notes.
Okay, cheers, Teresa. Great work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, good stuff there from Teresa. All right, let's see who else has their hands here. Our good friend Colette. How are you doing, Colette? Oh, you're self-muted there.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, how are you? Long time no chat.
Yeah, doing well. How are you doing?
We're good here, thank you.
Great, good. Jason, just a question about page speed. I've been optimizing a number of pages, but there's one particular page I just cannot seem to get
Let's
right.
take a look.
Shall I post it in the chat there?
Yeah, put it in your chat here, and I should be able to copy and paste it.
Let me just...
Okay. We can find out who the culprit might be.
Yeah, it seems to be a JavaScript issue, and I just can't seem to get it right. So I'd really like your help there.
Let's take a look here. Let's go to the page first together. Okay, this is a profile page, and we have a few things loading here. Events map is we're working on optimizing this. I would recommend removing this from the members profile page sidebar, and maybe just putting a link saying like, check out upcoming events, just right off the bat. I think we've optimized this recently. I have to check, but let's go to the page speed here, GT metrics. I like this one because it gives a waterfall breakdown of like what's contributing, like based on file size or the order things are loading. It gets a little more granular.
Yeah, I get about 45% there, but on the Google page speed, I only get like 11.
Okay, well, we can maybe dissect here, and then we can maybe use a trial and error thing. This ad thing that you're using, I've seen it on your site. I don't like it too much because you see how it delays the load and then it pops in like this. We need to set a width and height for the outer div that it's inside of. Then it won't move, because after it loads, it pushes everything down, and that's called like a cumulative layout shift. The layout of the page gets shifted after the load. But let's see here. Yeah, 46%. This let's see here let's see what it is. So JavaScript is the main contributor here. So we can go to the waterfall and we can look at your JavaScript and see what. Can we try by removing that calendar first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's do that together. Just a moment. Okay, here we go. So let's go to your sidebar manager and this person here. Do you have multiple member profile pages?
It'll be on the activities one.
Activities one, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's 7th down.
It looks like this. Oh, there we go. Activities sidebar. Okay. I'm just curious that it might be this events calendar. And that what is this Facebook? I see the member Facebook feed and then this SC Facebook. This is your Facebook.
That can stay. The member Facebook feed can go.
Okay.
Because that I don't have in activities, yeah.
Let's just leave it. Let's just try those two things and see how that works. And let me check out. I also, before I run this speed test one more time, I want to see what Google page speed is telling us as well. And using both of them together can give us a sense of what's probably going on the page.
The share this tool also takes up a lot of resources.
I think we optimized the loading of this.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to affect many other pages, and I've got it on all my pages. So something specific to these pages.
Perfect.
This is what we
want to see. There's something affecting the block. There's something blocking, and it's going to let us know what that is. Okay, see the add plug images. Doesn't like those.
But I've got that on every site. So why particularly this page does it seem to?
We're going to find out right now. Let's see here. Okay, that's fine. I understand. Just a moment. These are from. Okay, let's run this GT metrics again now as well. Can you also share this page in the Facebook group, Colette? I'll spend another couple minutes here, and then I think I can see what the culprit is. It's either going to be this add plug, which we can do a delayed load on, or it's something related to the JavaScript loading on the page, not necessarily the images. So the JavaScript.
Yeah, the add plug is on all pages, and I know it does do that delay, which I'd love to sort out. But
so if we see here, the performance already jumped up double here from 46 and 88 to 85 and 90 from removing the events calendar.
Yeah, that might be it.
So that's an improvement. The JavaScript went from 5 to 580 so not a big deal, but it didn't get hung. And if we look at the waterfall here, the JavaScript, okay, so the share this, I have a way to optimize the share this loading. If you can share a link in the Facebook group, I'll dive in there later. And what we do is we lazy load the share buttons rather than requiring them to load right away on the page. And then let me see, can I check one more thing for you on your optimization settings on this site? Yeah, everything looks good here. Yeah, share a link. Let's get those to 90 plus. I think we can do that, Colette.
Great. Thanks, Jason.
You're welcome.
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, good stuff there. All right, we got Graham. Let me unmute your mic, Graham.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, how you doing? Where are you calling from, Graham?
Hi, I'm calling from Canada. Yeah, calling
Okay.
from Canada in the Yukon.
Oh,
So,
okay. The Yukon.
far away.
Okay.
Over the well, I'm going to say over the years actually. I've seen you use the source code option when you right click on a page. View source code.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there have you done a webinar on how to optimize the use of that in design of our sites, or is that something that you could maybe do?
Well, I usually just use it to see. Well, I do a control U is what I do. You're talking about this here?
Yeah, because you can also can you not right click and then view source code? I mean, is that not the same
Yeah.
thing, or?
Yeah, view source page. Yeah, every public web page has the source code. That's basically what the browser is reading to print the page. Yeah, I usually use this just as a quick way if I want to see the meta titles and descriptions for SEO. See, we can see the title of the page and the description and the keywords. Also the social media metadata. That's mainly what I use it for. The only other reason I would go here is if I need to search for a specific element. Like in Colette's example, if I wanted to see if maybe a JavaScript was being loaded multiple times, I would do a control F for it and then see if I find it multiple times in the source code.
So, okay, cool. Because I've been aware that that's available, but I've never known how to use it. And
Yeah,
how simple is it?
yeah. Again, everything I just mentioned is basically the three things. I just check if I need to check that the social fields are filled out, the title, description, and keywords very quickly on a page, or the social share information, or if I'm looking for some specific element on the page that I wouldn't normally find by looking at the user-friendly version of the source code like this.
Okay, so it's not an extra tool that would be of any more use than what we already have.
Correct. It would mainly be for troubleshooting if something's wrong or if you need to do a quick check.
Okay.
Yeah. Every page has that. Even if I went here to the GT Metrics website and I went to view page source, unless I was trying to extract or scrape something from here, not much use coming out of here.
Scrape, that's the copy, right?
That would be the copy, yes. All right.
Yeah, that's all. Thanks. Yeah.
All right, cheers. All right, stay warm there in the Yukon for us, Graham. All right, good questions here. We got our good friend Rich Casanova. How you doing, Rich?
Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks for joining the webinar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love the upcoming features. Those are really cool, especially on the, closing account. So definitely want to make sure, the members get the benefit of, they're already, paid subscription. And so I like that delayed feature and the coupon codes. Yeah, so those are all coming up in the new year for the most part.
Yeah, I'd say some of these might be a little further out, like January, February, and some of these are going to be towards the turn of the new year as well.
Okay.
But these are on the radar, and I wanted to mention them here because they seem to be more popular in the Facebook group and in support tickets.
Yeah. I did have a question on one of the features and then a question on our events listing on the site, but this import post at articles, what's the use case for that, like importing events? I mean, how can we import?
So let's say that, sure, let's say there's another source that has events. I don't know what, like Eventbrite or Google Events, and let's say they have an RSS feed,
okay,
right, or some type of an XML feed. You could use that feed to auto-populate your site from their feed. So it'll extract a title, a date, a description, any like maybe a feature photo that's associated with it. So you could basically, in theory, populate your site dynamically over time from these feeds. And if you have several feeds, your website can become a beacon or hub of information for the entire industry.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to load your site with trash, but the only thing about that is, Google doesn't like duplicate content on the internet. However, if that was a concern, you could set those pages to no index, so they might not rank, but for a visitor searching your site, which your site would be an immense resource for
Yeah,
them.
great value.
And there's other ways to add unique content to those pages, you know, even if you're pulling from a feed,
Right.
and things like that. So there's lots of use cases for that, but in effect, or it could be a feed that you own. Maybe you have a blog
Right.
somewhere else and you want to feed that into
Right.
your BD site as a one-time import as you're migrating from, say, WordPress to Brilliant Directories. You don't have, it's not about maybe taking other people's content or feeds,
Right.
but you can take your own feed and load it into your BD site if you're migrating from another platform.
Well, yeah, because the events import would be way cool, because we have actually one of our resource or members of our site, they create a very robust, active events listing, and it's so, you know, long. And we've talked to them about, you know, kind of partnering, and they're open to that idea. But if we can just feed in there, so the dumb question is, so is that going? Well, two part. It doesn't require Zapier then, right? It's just the API import.
So you can use the BD API is like free to use, and it's basically what a developer would want to use.
Okay.
If you're a novice or a beginner and you just need to point and click, that's why Zapier and Pabbly exist, is for the novice user to do the point and click, and their tech takes care of all the marrying the data together. But if you're a developer and you have the know-how, then you never even need to use Zapier for anything.
Yeah, because we use Ryan from, you know, Directory Toolkit, so he can probably help with the API for the events.
Yeah,
now,
absolutely.
The other question on this was, the dumb question was, so as they update their events list, it'll automatically update because it's an RSS feed onto the site, right? So the old events will drop off based on their listing?
Correct. So if an event, generally we've talked about this in previous webinars, how we want the logic to work, but currently if an event has reached its end date, it's not going to be searchable in the directory. Only upcoming events will be searchable in the directory at that point. But we've talked about making it expired events searchable as well. I think we're still exploring that.
Well, I was talking about just the API import. So if it's coming from their source.
Yeah, so you can set filters. So if it's coming from their source and the end date is like less than the current date, then like you can skip that, and you can do a lot of if statements within Zapier or with the API and stuff like that. Very like conditional things, like don't import it if it doesn't have an image, or don't import it if the end date is past, you know, the current date, for example.
So that's great on the features. Yeah, definitely look forward to that. So my question was also tied into events on our site. So I can put the link in the chat if you want to,
Sure.
If that's helpful here. Yeah, so the question is, it's the chronological order of the event. So like on this events page, like on our events tab, they're not in order of, you know, of date, and yet if you go to our home page, or when you go to view them all, they do appear in chronological order. That makes sense.
So that would be controlled here. This might be what you're looking for. I could be wrong. You're saying on the search results page, they're not in chronological order.
No, I think in the search page they are,
okay.
But like we have a dedicated page just for events, you know, called events, and then the link, that was the link that I sent you. You know, that link.
I didn't get the link, by the way.
I put it in the chat, in the webinar chat, not the, you want me to put it in the. So if you notice, if you hover over those three events, well, those below those, we just manually post those, but the ones that, you know, auto-populate, if you hover over the first one for podcast movement, that's March 7th. The next one is January, and then our events is a reoccurring event.
Right, and the next one is.
Well, that's every 2 weeks. I'm not that concerned about our event because maybe that's changed with the reoccurring, but these are two podcasting events, and the first one should come up, you know, January, and then again then March. And if you hit the view all while you're there, if you hit the view all, you'll notice to view all the events, they come up in the correct order.
Okay, let's check something out together. One moment, because that's one of the homepage streaming widgets. But you're putting it on like a landing page or here in the events page. Okay, so let's take a look at something here. If we go to your home page, normally that's for the home page, and you have the events listed here
near the bottom, number 11, I think it is. You know, I've tried to manipulate that. You know, first, you know,
Oh, here, you have
yeah.
it from date posted, earliest date. No, so what we want is start date earliest first.
Yeah, I've tried,
Let's
you
see.
know, a combination of all those.
Okay, let's see if that affects. I'm going to open this in a duplicate tab. Well, look why that happened now.
Yeah, then it didn't post any of them.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that happened as well. And then if you switch it to, because there's kind of a little bit redundant, like you have date earliest.
Yeah, you don't want date posted. That just means when it was created. But I'm
Yeah,
curious
exactly.
why
Yeah,
it disappeared all of a sudden. Let me just refresh this here. So now these are back.
yeah, see it now how it appears chronological. So our event comes up December 15th, then the January event.
Yeah, I would email the support team about that one. So what you want is this start date earliest first, and
Yeah,
it shouldn't make this widget disappear because they all have upcoming start dates. So they're
right.
all valid events. I would email the support team and let them know that when you switch these, this thing goes away, and it shouldn't. And that will fix your problem with this.
Okay.
Seems like a small technical issue here.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, appreciate it. Thanks again.
All right. Yeah, but just tell them like when you switch this to start date first, the widget disappears and it shouldn't. That just to give them some context of what's happening.
Okay, cool.
All right. Good luck there. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Okay. All right. We got some hands up as well. Let's see. We got our Selva here. How you doing, Selva? There we go.
Okay, here I am. Okay.
Hey, how's
My
it going?
Google Maps don't work in the directory. How do I make them work? Did you address that just before I started? When I started, my audio wasn't working. So
no worries. What's your website? Let's take a look together.
DesiConnect.ca. DESI.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that. Give me a moment. Let's see if we can pull that up.
Yes, please.
You're in Canada as well?
Yes.
Okay, great. I always
And
love
I
that
have
we get
a second question there too.
Sure.
Is there a template to email claim listings? So right now all I have is claim listings.
Sure.
The website is about 5 years old, but then I just let it sit for a while.
Okay. So here, just a quick thing. In the dashboard when you log in, there is a quick Google Maps API status. It does show that it's working here.
Yeah, but maps
see.
don't show.
So for example, let's see if we go to a profile page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this person is in Brampton, Ontario.
Yeah.
And also you said you imported claim listings. Let's see if you've geocoded these members. They do need a longitude and latitude. So you have geocoded them. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you have 1800, only 40 need geocode. That's fine. Okay. You need to go to your Google Maps API and you need to add this domain name to there, and I can show you how to do that real quick. I don't want to leave you hanging here, so I'll just search Google Maps API, Brilliant Directories. Okay, it's going to take us Guide 10, how to enable Google Maps API. I'll basically show you where you need to go. So we'll go to the Maps platform, and I'll just click Get Started. Okay, great. So this is our account here. Basically, what you want to do is you want to go to, I think, APIs. Just a moment. Let this load for a moment. Actually, no, that's not where we want to go. We want to go to credentials, excuse me, credentials. And then you can go ahead and click on it. And you can follow the directions, but see here the list of websites. I think you've added manage my directory, but you need to add star. So if you want to add a new one, you would add star
DesiConnect.ca.
dot, yeah, not two dots. Yeah. If you add that to the credentials, click on it and add as a HTTP refer this. So you do star dot this, it should work right away.
Okay.
And then make sure it's don't restrict key and save. So go to your Google Maps, click on credentials, click on the API, and then add star dot your domain name. And it should
star dot domain name. Okay.
Yeah. Are you doing it now?
No, I'm writing it down.
Okay. And then you can email the support team, or if you want to ask in the Facebook group, we can follow up if it's still not working after that.
Okay, I'll try this first and only if it doesn't.
Okay.
And I have a second question there just to follow up.
Sure, please go ahead.
Is there a template to email claim listings? Like how am I going to make them aware that we exist and they have a listing with us?
I think we have an email in our blog. Let me check. We had an email. Let's see here. I have an email to share. If you can ask this in the Facebook group, I can also share this. We do have an email template somewhere in our blog.
I did ask the question yesterday.
Okay. If you can at me in the question, I'll check it out. It basically says to the effect of hey, we've added you to our, you've been requested to be added to our directory, or you recommended, and we invite you to update your information, and so you can receive the leads coming from this page. It's a nice email. I'll share it with you. I think it's somewhere in the Facebook group too. Just at me in that post, and I'll get that information to you and to everyone else.
Jason, right?
Jason, yeah.
Okay.
Jason Halusa. Okay. All right. Good questions there. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Okay, great questions from Selva. Yeah, the Google Maps issue should be an easy fix. Okay, we got our good friend Robert here.
Hey.
How's it going, Robert?
Hi, Jason. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad she asked about that, the email. Because I was wondering the same thing, and so now while I was waiting on hold here, I did run that GT metrics, and my site is at a 88% and a 90%, which I'm happy with.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good. But it says test server location Vancouver, Canada. That doesn't have anything to do with me, does it?
No, I mean, I think they have like a paid tool where you can test like from Japan or like global locations.
I got it.
Site. Yeah, but if it's in the Americas and that's the majority of where your users are, that's a pretty good test location.
Right, correct. Well, mine is this. I had a pretty good question about the media manager and pictures, photos, and if you remember, we talked a few weeks ago. I had a problem with, I guess it was a widget for the voice voice demos that were on my site, and I never did get that solved. I deleted all the widgets I created. I kind of took everything back to the beginning, and I still can't get a widget to load on there. And I'm wondering, can you look at, do you want me to give you my site and you can look at my,
Sure.
I had another theory, and I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I want to ask you. So yeah, voicerim.com, voicerim.com.
Okay.
Yeah, you see up at the top, it has his picture and everything. And then where it says demos, and then it has these 3 image players, right? Those brown, photos. You see those?
Yep.
Yeah, I added that. I just did that myself. And if you click on one, it takes you to a separate page, which is fine. That's because to me, it seems like that loads faster if you do it that way. Is that correct?
Yeah, these are just image links, it seems. This is just an image. It's not an actual embedded player. So yeah, this is an image that's linking to this web page.
Yeah. Now the thing is, when you click on that, that's a file that was. If you click on that, I can't do it. It'll play and you'll hear it. But that file itself was off of my own computer, but it still plays because I tested it on different computers and everything. Does that get something that's going to go away? Go away at some point? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
It looks like it's coming from a ning.com site.
That's right, it is. Ning was the other platform I was using, and I still have a lot of stuff over there.
What is the goal here? So visitors can hear a snippet of this person's sound?
That's correct.
Okay. So what you should do is this. You need to standardize what instead of trying to solve the problem for your members, you need to let your members solve the problem themselves. And what I would recommend doing is, especially with the Embedly toolbar that you can now add to the text editors, I would provide a how-to video on 5 audio solutions that your members can utilize to add files to their files to the site, and choose the most popular ones. Let me go here to providers.
Okay. Yeah, the people who do this stuff, they're very much into this. They know what they're doing. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So let me get the Embedly when we talked about Embedly. Just a moment here. I'm going to because this is a free tool for your website, and it's just going to empower your members to embed content from many different sources. I'm going to show you in 1 second. I'm going to share this link in the chat here for everyone.
Okay.
I don't want to go through the entire tutorial here, so I'll just share the link. However, Embedly specializes in embedding video or audio from different platform sources. And let's just take a quick look at their audio ones. Hold on, this thing is a little slow when it's filtering it. Just give me a second here. So look, your members can embed, they just have to do it in the text editor from SoundCloud, Spotify, Last.fm, and a ton more. So if you want to choose the top 5 or make a video showing them how to embed from the top 5, but provide this entire list. You can just copy and paste this list on a how-to page on your site, since it's very audio centric, and let them know that these are the top 5 recommended ones. However, we support audio inserts or embeds from these solutions. Maybe you want to pick and choose some of these. I don't think they're going to embed NPR, because that's not a sample of their voiceover stuff, but but the ones where people upload their own audio, you might want to do that, and then just put it in their court to figure it out on their profile. But make a few instructional videos for them.
Okay. And the reason I had them up here before is that I wanted to just build a few. Some of them are customers I haven't talked to in a number of years, and I just wanted to have a profile there just to populate my site. Complete nice looking profiles to populate the site.
My recommendation would be, because you're going to have voiceover artists coming from all over the world, and they probably have their demos on probably one of these websites. If not, they should get it on one of these websites, because apparently a solution like this is using the most popular websites where people are either streaming or uploading their own audio content to. In addition to YouTube and Vimeo and Wistia and other video platforms, their voiceover might be through video, right? They usually a lot of them are. So you can also encourage them to just share their YouTube video embed as well. Rather than trying to figure out one way to get all the audio, why don't you support 100 different ways for your voiceover artist?
Okay, I got it. Yeah, and like I say, these people are like, they know more about doing that than I even do. So
listen, I always say this: Craigslist is not the prettiest website, but when people are compelled to sell a mattress, they're going to figure out how to get it listed on Craigslist. Okay, so if you compel people to use your website and you just show them a few how-tos, they'll get the gist of it, and also make contacting you for support easy. Need help adding your audio? Email our team. So make reaching out to you your second priority after educating your members. And that goes for everyone's directory sites, is making it easy for people to reach out to you. So if they are stuck, they don't abandon their profile or what they're doing. They reach out to you proactively.
Okay.
All right.
Great. I thank you.
All right, you're very welcome, Robert. We definitely appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, thank you for another amazing Webinar Wednesday. We're just about out of time here. David, thank you so much for putting the slides together for the best practices, optimize images to improve your website speeds. Do not upload high file size images to your sites, guys. Reduce the file sizes. Lots of BD Lab updates on the way. If we didn't get to your question, please join us in the Facebook group. Shout out to Rick for winning that last iPad giveaway. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. I'll be more active in there myself tomorrow and through the coming weeks, through the end of the year. So I look forward to seeing your post there. And the replay will be immediately available in the Facebook group, thanks to us streaming on YouTube Live. And we also recommend that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. On behalf of myself, David, and the entire Brilliant Directories family, we love you guys so much. Have a great day and a brilliant week. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. Catch you guys then. Bye-bye.